The following movie is rated R.
What's going on, y'all? It's Tuesday, and I hope everybody out there is feeling fantastic. So let's go ahead and jump into these topics. And the first thing I want to start off with is the fact that it seems as though that Papoose is definitely going to take up for his woman. He protects her at all costs. And there's a comedian or a prankster by the name of Gerald that tried to pull some ish on Clarissa by running up on Papoose and Clarissa and calling Clarissa Serena Williams. I want you guys to check out this clip, and I'll be back.
My nose, Papoose hit me with a book.
He was being disrespectful to Clarissa. He ran down on her. He like, yo, Serena Williams. She literally told him like, yo, you know I ain't Serena Williams. You know what I'm saying? And he was like persistent. I tell him like, yo, don't do that, man. He told me I did it already. The rest was history.
They had these beautiful magazines, bro, and I had just told Pap to hold mine because I didn't want to carry mine. So he got like 4 of these big books in his hand. I turned my head before I knew it, the books was on the floor.
All right, so we just saw all of that. Now, listen, I'm hearing that Gerald is thinking about suing Papoose for the altercation that they got in. I will say that, listen, these pranksters out here, one day people are going to start putting you 6 feet deep. A lot of people ain't with it. I'm not advocating for that, but this is just the way the world is. They're getting sick of the games and things of that nature. But because he rolled up on Papoose and Clarissa does not give Papoose the right to put paws on him, even if he was pranking him. If the prank didn't involve him physically touching Clarissa or Papoose, you just can't haul off and hit that man in the face with a pile of books. Now, would I have reacted the same like Papoose did if somebody was trying to prank my girl? Yeah, probably would. You know, especially if he's trying to stand on business and trying to get a reaction out of me. But I'm learning slowly but surely to just be patient and don't give them what they want, and just try to be professional and just move along until I feel like there's no other way to handle the situation at hand other than to show you what time it is, right? And so, like I said, I'm getting better with age, y'all. You know, we live and we learn, because it's hard for me to walk away when I feel like I'm being disrespected, you know? But listen, if he sues Papoose, Papoose has to be mindful how he moves, because you just can't haul off and knock somebody upside the head in the New York Minute, because while you're protecting your girl, you also have to be mindful and protect her pockets, because if he files a lawsuit against you, Clarissa may feel obligated to pay your legal fees based off of the fact that you were defending her. I'm not saying that Papoose don't have any money, but I'm gonna keep it real here. We all know that Clarissa is the breadwinner, so you have to protect her in all aspects of your relationship, physically, financially, so forth and so on. So just move smarter and be smarter about what you're doing, Papoose. That's all I have to say about that. So let's move along, and I want to talk about Stephen Jackson checking the hell out of Stephen A. Smith. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I'm so sick of Stephen A. Smith. I've been tired of him. I know the game that he's playing. He's pandering just to get ahead in life, and it's working for him. He hadn't been too long, signed a $100 million contract with ESPN, and now he has this notion that he could potentially run for president because Sean Hannity is his best friend, or Hannity is his best friend, and he goes on Fox and he talks against black people and things of that nature, right? But anyway, Stephen A. Smith was highly critical of Serena for performing at the Super Bowl with Kendrick Lamar. He thought that Serena only performed just to get back at her ex and Drake, and he just thought it wasn't a good look. Well, recently, Serena's husband, Alexis, was on ESPN, and he confronted Stephen A. about potentially having some type of marriage advice for him. He stood up to Stephen A. Smith, and Stephen A. Smith caved the F in. But anyway, what I want to do right here is play you guys some clips. Now, the first clip is going to be what Stephen A. had to say about Serena performing at the Super Bowl, and then I'm going to follow that up with Alexis checking Stephen A. on ESPN, and then Stephen Jackson is going to be followed after that to give you his 2 cents on how Stephen A. moves and how it's a different energy when it comes to talking about his own people versus other individuals and other races. So check this out, and I'll be back.
Her and Drake were together at one point in time. And it seemed like everybody wanted to get their lick back on Drake.
RC's, what Stephen A. is saying, if he was in that situation and now he's married, he's not allowing none of that's happening.
Hold on, no.
That's what he said.
If I'm married and my wife is going to join trolling her ex, go back to his ass. Because clearly you don't belong with me. What you worried about him for and you with me?
I gotta get that lick back.
Also, too, Stephen A. Smith, I think you had some marriage advice for me. Is that right? Or
Well, you know what? Listen, I did it. People, headlines are headlines. We can get into that another time. But I
was hoping you were going to be here.
I'm not. Oh no, I am not qualified. Married? Right. Oh no, not me. Well, I ain't qualified, my brother. I'm not qualified.
I was going to ask because you hadn't been married before, right?
I am married.
No, see,
hasn't.
No. Okay. Yeah, because I give advice to plenty of founders who want to build billion-dollar companies, and the reason I do that is because I build billion-dollar companies. Yeah. So I generally try to stay in my lane as advice.
Then we'll talk marriage advice later. I'm 13 years strong. We got you. Alexis, thank you so much. Athlos NYC 2-night event in New York. Incredible.
You get loud and all in your feelings about Braun. When Braun, he talking to a black billionaire, but when you talking to a white billionaire, you humble. And you come back on your show talking real respectful, mild manner, man. Hey, bro, listen, bro. And you dogging the black women. Let's stay out of politics and stick to talking about sports you never played. All right? Just stick to doing that, bro. We not gonna vote for you if you talk. I heard you talking about running. You don't do that, bro. We not gonna vote for you. No, we're not. But check this out, bro. Stop, bro. Okay, you do not have the same energy for other people, but you got the lot of energy for Braun and black women and not everybody else.
All right, so you guys just heard that, and I 100% agree with Steven Jackson here. He was just talking down on Jasmine Crockett. I'm talking about Stephen A. Smith, calling her ignorant and things of that nature. And he just has a knack for attacking people that have the same hue as him. But other individuals do no wrong. He will defend them to the end of the earth. And it's just laughable on so many levels that somebody done put a battery in this dude's back to think that he has what it takes to run for president. Like, people are gonna come out in droves to actually vote for this idiot. I think not. And the last thing I want to say about this situation is that I personally believe that Stephen A. Smith knew that Alexis would be in studio that day and opted not to be in studio, and that's why he appeared, on screen basically somewhere else in the country. You know what I'm saying? He didn't want to face that man straight up in the studio because he knew that he said some BS about that man's wife and Serena. That's just my personal opinion. Stephen A. punked out. But anyway, let's move along. And I want to talk about this recent arrest because I'm telling you, the Real Housewives of Potomac, there's some real thugs and criminals over there. Everybody going to jail. Wendy Osefo and her husband were arrested on fraud charges, felony fraud charges, and it's not looking good. So guys, what I want to do right here is play you guys this clip because this woman breaks it down beautifully, and then I'll be back to close the video.
These are not seasoned Nigerian scammers, okay? They've never done this before. When I first heard that Wendy and Eddie had been arrested for scamming and fraud, I wasn't surprised. I wasn't surprised because I come from the scamming capital of the world, Atlanta, Georgia, and this is a very common practice here. That's why our insurance policies are so high here, because everyone is using insurance fraud to come up. So no, I wasn't surprised that Wendy and Eddie were caught scamming or committing insurance fraud. What I was surprised at is that this is their first time. And it's very obvious that this is their first time. Listen, Wendy and Eddie made a lot of mistakes throughout this entire process. And so that tells me that they've never done this before. Mistake number one, claiming the insurance policy max for items that were stolen from your closet. The insurance policy max, when you have like home insurance, if your house burns down or something, the insurance policy max is what you're going to get if your home burns down. They basically said that items stolen from their closet amounted to what they would get if their entire home burned down and they lost everything. That's a red flag to insurance companies. I mean, I'm not even in insurance, but I have common sense, okay? That is a huge, huge, huge red flag. That makes people go, wait, what? The second mistake is that the police said there was no dirt or any type of tracking or anything to indicate that a robbery or that a burglar had come into their home at all. Like, of course, the house was trashed or whatnot, but there was no signs that someone came from outside into the house and trashed the house. A seasoned Nigerian scammer would have known better than that. A seasoned Nigerian scammer would have made sure that there was some type of evidence to make it look like a burglary actually happened. Mistake number 3, they allegedly have one of them on camera returning some of the items that they claimed were stolen to the stores. Like, you don't even have to be a scammer or a criminal to know that's not wise. You shouldn't do that. And this one right here, this one gets me. Okay, mistake number 4. They have emails from Eddie to Wendy basically saying, I'm trying to get to our policy max, which is $450,000. So what else can we add on there? Why are you putting your crime in writing? Y'all, these are not seasoned Nigerian scammers. Okay, they've never done this before. Side note, who emails their wife? Y'all email your wives? You don't just text? You don't just talk at the dinner table? Who emails their spouse? Emails are for like business. I've never emailed a boyfriend, a homegirl. I don't even think I've emailed a family member unless I was sending them something that was like business related. You know what I mean? Like, what? Mistake number 5, which y'all, this one got me too. They filed 3 separate claims for the items that were stolen. One with the home insurance, one with their jewelry insurance, and then another one with their travel insurance. That's a huge red flag. Insurance companies can see when you file multiple claims on the same item. They can see that. They can see when you file any claim. A lot of people don't know this, but you actually have an insurance credit score. Bet you didn't know that. You actually have an insurance credit score. And they look at that before writing you a policy and approving you for a policy. They look at that. And one of the things they're looking for is to see how many times you filed claims in the past. You can be denied for different types of insurance, whether it's car insurance, home insurance, whatever type of insurance. You can be denied for that in the future if you file too many insurance claims in the past. And then the 6th and final mistake that I just... I don't even know what to say about this particular mistake because this is just a lack of thought. Wendy has 4 degrees. Eddie is a lawyer. Why would you do this? 2 weeks after Wendy and Eddie claimed that Wendy's wedding band was stolen, she wears it on a red carpet and then post that red carpet photo to her social media. There it is. She said 2 weeks before that, on April 7th, that ring had been stolen. On April 28th, she's seen wearing the ring on a red carpet. This is ludicrous. These are not seasoned Nigerian scammers, and that's okay. Okay, I personally believe that Wendy and Eddie should be given a slap on the wrist for this. Okay, listen, I understand that insurance fraud makes all of our policies go up. I get it. I don't like that either. But Wendy and Eddie didn't know what they were doing. They didn't know what they were doing, y'all. This was just something, they were probably in hard times. They probably had some debt they needed to pay off. They didn't understand what they were doing. They were new at this. They heard that this is something that people do when they're hard up on cash. And so they just said, you know what, we're going to do it too. That's all this was. Give Wendy and Eddie a little slap on the wrist. Please, please, please.
All right, so we just heard all of that. Do you agree with the young lady in the video that Wendy and her husband just deserve a slap on the wrist because they didn't know what they were doing? I know she said it jokingly, but at the end of the day, Andy has come out and basically defended them and said that he was blindsided and that he's hoping for the best. He's hoping that this is just something small and Wendy and her husband can get back to life and things of that nature. But anyway, I want to hear from you guys on everything that I covered in this video. Drop down in the comments and let a brother know what you think. Don't forget to like, comment, and if you're new here, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I'll get with you guys later. Have a beautiful day.
Thanks for watching.